Liverpool are cruising toward the finish line, 11 points clear at the top, effectively shutting the door on any title challenge. But beneath them, the race for Champions League spots is only just beginning, and it's shaping up to be one of the most chaotic, hotly contested battles we've seen in years. Right now, Nottingham Forest and Chelsea sit third and fourth respectively, but that doesn't mean they're safe. Chelsea's recent scoreless draw with Brentford has only fueled doubts about their consistency. Just behind them, Manchester City, once the most feared team in the land, are now in real danger of slipping out of the top four after a stretch of uninspired performances. Meanwhile, Newcastle and Aston Villa are accelerating, but in very different ways. Newcastle boasts deep resources and have 2 games in hand. Villa, on the other hand, are a red-hot winning machine, having reeled off 7 straight victories in all competitions. And don't overlook Fulham. Once written off as outsiders, they've just taken down Liverpool and now sit 8th, just 5 points off a Champions League spot. In a season where the top 4 reshuffle every 2.5 rounds on average, a single match day can turn everything upside down. No one is safe, not even the teams at the top. Liverpool may have crushed any hopes of an Arsenal resurgence in the title race, but the Premier League hasn't lost its drama. The battle for Europe is now the main event. A survival of the fittest where no team is guaranteed a spot, no one can relax, and every match carries weight. Nottingham Forest have been the season's biggest surprise, holding firm in third despite a recent loss to Villa. Chelsea are clinging to fourth with 53 points, but their draw against Brentford was a warning siren. Just a point behind, Man City sit on 52, but their uneven form has Pep Guardiola's side walking a tightrope. Newcastle, with 50 points and 2 games in hand, could leapfrog both Chelsea and City, plunging the race into even deeper chaos. Villa have matched City on points and are tearing toward the finish like seasoned veterans. And Fulham, once thought to be mid-table fodder, now have 48 points and just became the first team to beat Klopp's Liverpool away from home this season. Even more remarkable, Fulham are just 3 points off the top 4. A gap they could absolutely close. Let's not forget this is a team that had lost 3 of their previous 4. Yet when the moment came, they seized it. Earlier in the year, analytics models predicted no team from 3rd to 8th had more than a 60% chance of finishing in the top 4, a stat unheard of in the Premier League era. The odds shift with every round, so much so that even the experts won't stick their necks out to predict who makes it. All of this, fixture congestion, injuries, inconsistent form, mental pressure, has created the most thrilling top 4 battle we've seen all season. There have already been 12 rounds where the top 4 outside of Liverpool and Arsenal changed, meaning we get a new look at the table every 2.5 match days. And with that kind of volatility, anything can happen. For the first time in years, both Manchester United and Tottenham are nowhere near the top 10. Leaving a void that has opened the door for underdogs to turn this into a tactical chess match. Every move counts and the margin for error is razor thin. Look at the table and you'll see Chelsea, Man City, and Aston Villa with similar point totals. But the roads they've taken could not be more different. Of the 3, City might be the most concerning. They still dominate possession, still press high, but goals have become a rare commodity. The crushing victories, the suffocating performances, they're missing. Pep and his team seem to be losing their deadliest weapon, efficiency. Chelsea are stuck in limbo, not poor enough to be ruled out, but not convincing enough to inspire belief. They're grinding out points, keeping clean sheets, 3 in their last 4, but they lack a reliable striker. The attack leans heavily on midfield breakthroughs, leading to tight, scrappy games. Chelsea might be specialists in drawing crucial matches, but they lack the finishing kick to pull away from the pack. Aston Villa, though? They're no fluke. This isn't a lucky run. With clear tactics, structured play, and alignment from the bench to the field, they're here on merit. Of the 3, Villa are the only ones playing like they belong in the top 4. If the Champions League race is a treacherous road, then City, Chelsea, and Villa are 3 drivers flooring it in entirely different gears. City are quietly slipping into crisis, losing their grip on fear and dominance. A 0-0 draw with Manchester United marked the 2nd straight away game without a goal, something that hasn't happened since December 2020. They're still controlling games, still pressing, but they just can't find the net. With 7 rounds to go, if they don't unlock their attack, they could lose everything to teams no one expected. Chelsea, meanwhile, are floating between extremes. Not good enough to feel secure, not bad enough to be written off. The Blues are solid at the back but lack a killer up front, relying too much on moments of magic from midfield. As a result, they're often dragged into gritty contests. Still, they remain fourth not because they've pulled away, but because no one else has overtaken them, yet. Unlike the two teams mentioned earlier, Aston Villa stands out as the most intriguing contender in this race. Their 2-1 victory over Nottingham Forest extended their winning streak to 7 games across all competitions, a feat they haven't achieved in the top flight since 1981. This is no longer just a temporary surge, but the result of a well-oiled system. Villa may not boast superstar names, but they have players like Morgan Rogers and Daniel Malen, individuals who fully understand their roles and execute them to perfection. Aston Villa's consistency isn't built on short-term flashes of brilliance, but on meticulous preparation in every aspect, from the coaching staff to their pressing structure. One telling statistic: since the start of the season, Villa has never let an opponent equalize after taking a 2-goal lead in a Premier League match. Put these three teams side by side, and it becomes clear that, despite having the same points, their journeys couldn't be more different. Manchester City is still searching for its true identity amid an underlying crisis. Chelsea is playing it safe, but lacks a breakthrough, while Aston Villa is marching forward with a clear strategy and a burning ambition. As the season enters its decisive phase, success will not be defined by past achievements but by how teams respond when pushed to their limits, and right now Villa is steering the ship with the most confidence. At this stage, no team can afford mistakes, but when a team steps onto the pitch with the unwavering belief that they will win, that mentality could be the ultimate game-changer in such a tight Premier League race. This season, it's the so-called giants who have put themselves in difficult positions. Manchester United and Tottenham find themselves outside the top 10. Chelsea and Manchester City are struggling to regain their rhythm, while Arsenal and Liverpool have created a safe gap at the top. So, who are the challengers? Aston Villa doesn't need blockbuster signings, they have a solid system. Fulham doesn't have superstars, but tactical discipline keeps them competitive. Newcastle hasn't splashed cash recklessly, but every player in their squad knows exactly what they need to do. Their success isn't about luck, it's the product of careful planning. Most importantly, they're not playing to surprise anyone. They're playing to secure a top 4 spot, a clear and undeniable objective. When an underdog starts playing with the mindset of a powerhouse, it signals a genuine shift. The Premier League doesn't change overnight, but the transformation is happening and it's irreversible. Teams that were once seen as outsiders are now seizing control of the game. As the balance of power shifts, English football is entering a new era where the top 4 is no longer an exclusive club, but a reward for the best compared teams. Heading into the 2024-25 season, the once dominant Big Six are gradually losing their grip. This isn't a short-term anomaly but a systemic shift. Newcastle has the financial muscle but is building sustainably instead of spending recklessly. Aston Villa, under the guidance of Unai Emery, a seasoned strategist in European football, is thriving with a well-balanced and well-drilled squad. Fulham embraces a pragmatic approach, opting for controlled efficiency over chaotic pressing. Their victories aren't flukes, they stem from tactics and resilience. Looking at the current top 4 battle, it's clear that the old powerhouses are fading, while the so-called outsiders are learning to dictate the game. This isn't the first time the Premier League has witnessed an unpredictable season, but it's the first time the cracks in the Big Six hierarchy have been so evident and systematic. What's striking is that the traditional giants are dismantling their own dominance through endless rebuilds, transfer missteps, and long-term strategies that get abandoned midway. The Premier League has seen fairy tale runs before. Leicester's title-winning miracle, West Ham's one-season resurgence, but what Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Fulham are doing now is different. This is no short-term fluke. They have clear tactical blueprints, smart investments, and most crucially, a well-defined goal with the discipline to chase it. Their presence at the top isn't just a fleeting storyline, it's evidence of a real structural shift in English football. If the Big Six were once an immovable force, this season is a true test of what power really means in football. When underdogs start winning consistently and force the entire league to reassess its landscape, it's no longer a temporary trend, it's a revolution. They don't need grand declarations or flashy football. They are reshaping the Premier League in the only language that matters, the scoreboard. Like any major shift in football, this transformation arrived unannounced, but once it began, there was no stopping it. The 2024-25 Premier League season is witnessing a seismic change, driven purely by on-field performances. This year's top four race isn't just the usual playground for the Big Six. It's a battlefield of preparation, elite tactics, and teams that dare to believe they belong among the elite. Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Fulham, each with its own identity but all chasing the same goal. They are no longer playing just to survive, they are playing to make a statement. In a season where Manchester United and Tottenham have faded from the spotlight, a power vacuum has opened. The teams that seize this opportunity won't just reshape the top four battle, they will redefine the future of the Premier League.